I once got a complaint about these cookies that they were too soft and buttery. I think based off the fact that they gave me 1 star, they meant this to be a negative thing. But if there's one thing I want you to know about these cookies, they're super soft and buttery. Not only are they soft and buttery and chewy in the center, they're very peanut buttery. They have a ton of flavor and they have a nice little coating of sugar on the outside, which really puts them over the top. Let's get started. You are going to need a semi-awkward amount of butter. You need 10 tablespoons. I did a lot of testing, a lot of playing around. 10 tablespoons is what you need. Trust me on this. Don't just use 8 because that's what's in a stick. Use the 10. I have people who do that, so I feel like I need to preempt that. This is 10 tablespoons of softened butter. And yes, if you want to double this recipe, you can. You would use 20 tablespoons of butter. You're also going to be adding 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter. This is 140 grams. And a note about the peanut butter. You can make this recipe with like natural peanut butter, or like homemade peanut butter, but the cookies do come out more dry. So I recommend something like, you know, Jif, not like a natural peanut butter, for softer, butterier cookies. But if you're using natural, just want to temper your expectations. 2/3 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar, another ingredient a lot of the classic peanut butter cookies recipes don't use. Brown sugar really adds a nice depth of flavor, which we're all about here. And then just 1/4 cup or 50 grams of granulated sugar. Today's recipe can be made in your stand mixer using the paddle attachment. You'll have to do a lot of scraping because it doesn't make a ton of dough, so you'll want to make sure you scrape the sides. Today I'm just using my electric hand mixer. And we'll beat everything together until it's light and creamy. All right, next thing we'll add is 1 large egg. I do prefer this to be room temperature. It's not the end of the world if it isn't, but room temperature ingredients help everything combine a little bit better. And then for our vanilla, we're just using a 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, enough to add a nice depth of flavor and really complement the peanut butter without kind of stealing the show. Mix everything together again. I'll do a quick scrape of the sides and bottom. If you ever make cakes and you struggle with cakes that bake up uneven or wonky or anything like that, a lot of times it's because the ingredients aren't being scraped on the side and bottom, so you're ending up with lumps that you don't even know are in there, and then they show up in your finished cake. Hopefully you're not dealing with that, but just in case, I thought I'd share. That can go away for a minute. Grab a separate bowl for your dry ingredients. You need just 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour for this recipe, 188 grams. Another ingredient we use to make this recipe really nice and soft and chewy is a tablespoon of cornstarch, and then 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. No baking powder needed in this recipe, and 3/4 teaspoon of table salt. Go ahead and whisk these ingredients together. Let's go ahead and add this into our butter and peanut butter mixture, which smells amazing, by the way. Go ahead and stir it in. Keep it on low speed so you don't send flour everywhere, and just scrape the bowl occasionally. I really think you guys are going to love these. I really mean it when I say I think they're the best peanut butter cookies out there. A big problem that happens with peanut butter cookies is they have more flour than is ideal, and that allows you to cook them right away, bake them right away, but then they end up more dry and crumbly. We are going to have a little bit of patience, pop these in the fridge, cover them tightly, pop it in the fridge for a minimum of 30 minutes up to 3 days, and chill the dough. And this is going to help the cookies not spread too much. They'll stay thicker and chewier with less flour, because more flour would make them crumbly. I hope that makes sense. While your dough is chilling, you'll want to get your oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your dough is chilled, you can remove the plastic. I like to scoop the dough into like heaping 1.5 tablespoon scoops. And then with peanut butter cookies, we're going to roll them into balls. And here's something else I like to do that helps keep the cookies like nice and soft and gives them just like a nice little edge over most other recipes. We're gonna roll them through granulated sugar. So you might notice this looks a little bit more brown or yellow than most granulated sugar. I prefer to use an organic sugar because it's coarser and you get a little bit more texture and like crunch when you use this sugar. But regular granulated will be absolutely fine if that's all you have. Roll that through, place it on our baking sheet, space your cookies at least 2 inches apart. And then to help these cookies spread nicely, because peanut butter cookies need a little bit of encouraging, you'll just take a fork and use the tines to press down lightly in a crisscross pattern. Don't smash them super flat. You want the cookies to be a little bit thick. It helps with the chewiness and the softness. Just press them down a bit, gently but firmly. And then these will go into the center rack of our 350 degree Fahrenheit preheated oven. Peanut butter cookies, it's so important that you do not overbake them. That is the #1 reason they're going to end up dry and crumbly, especially if you're using this recipe. We are going to check them at 8 minutes. They usually need 8 to 10 minutes. Again, you do not want to overdo it. And if you have a really dark baking sheet, you're probably gonna need a little less time. All right, here's what I like to see. Maybe very, very light golden softening happening around the edges, but very light. Center should look very slightly underbaked. We're going to let the cookies cool completely on the baking sheet, finish baking here. That way they stay nice and soft and chewy and don't become hard and crumbly, which is the worst thing that could happen to a peanut butter cookie. And once they've cooled completely, you can go ahead and enjoy, or let them cool most of the way. These cookies are great still warm, but if they're hot, they'll be fragile. That is how you make my personal favorite peanut butter cookie. I would really love to know what you think. I really do always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. The best part of my day. Let's go ahead and break into this guy so you can see the center. This looks amazing. Oh, I love these cookies so much. It's the perfect peanut butter cookie. It's so good.